if another one comes out, and
honestly,
then
every time they give you some good news, within about a few days or hours, they come up with another strain. I don't know how the guy talks, and it's impossible to imitate.
another one comes out, and then scary when we get to hear ourselves.
I bought a ticket for Shiur today, but he probably doesn't even know.
He's got a bar mitzvah tonight, I think.
And how much it cost you?
It was about 67.
You know, I think it's his. I think it's his brother's bar mitzvah.
Was Shiur?
Shiur's brother's. I think it's Shiur's brother's bar
60.
Oh, Mazda.
One used to come in.
I never knew.
Yeah, I think it's tonight.
I won't be here, Shiur.
Got loads to do, lots of exciting new things.
And we've got Kugel.
And we've got Kugel, yes.
Sure, when's the Kugel coming out?
It's going to be
we have to do it after because of the phone situation.
Sure, keep your phone box. I'll go and buy myself Kugel tonight myself. It's fine. I'm anyway got.
Shiur's brother's bar mitzvah. It's been nice.
Yeah, no, that's something. Going to get married and children.
Somebody wrote it back to make you a simcha today.
Across the road from me.
He was getting the mechitza and he was getting all nervous about people seeing that.
It's horrible.
It's terrible, yes, that's stressing.
I'll pop myself up. Daddy side.
Right.
Says the Gemara Daf Kuf Daled Amud Aleph. We're up to Omar B'Shab ben Levi, which is just past halfway down. Omar B'Shab ben Levi. Hamavdil, one who makes Havdalah, Serch Shiur Mam in Havdalah, so Amoris B'Torah. He has to use separations, distinctions, which are mentioned in the Torah. Because you can't just say, just over halfway, Kuf Daled Amud Aleph, Omar B'Shab ben Levi, by the dot. The opposite, yeah, next to this is still low. Again, Omar B'Shab ben Levi. Hamavdil Serch Shiur Mam in Havdalah, so Amoris B'Torah. You can't just say, one who divides between hot and cold. The Torah never mentioned that. You have to say distinctions which the Torah mentions. Meisvik, say the Havdalah is Heich. How should you say Havdalah? Oima. Hamavdil ben Kodesh leChol. The one who divides this between Kodesh and Chol. Ben Ola Choshech, ben Yisroel Ami, ben Yimashvili Shishis Me'amasa, ben Tomei leTorah. We don't say this, by the way, if you notice, between Tomei and Torah. Ben Hayom leChavava, between dry land and the sea. Ben Maimer Yonim Lemama Tachtonim, Ben Kohanim Levim v'Yisraelim v'Chosim, and you finish off Havdalah b'Seder Bereshis, the one who organizes Bereshis. The reason is because since Hashem created the world on Sunday, so Motzei Shabbos is when Hashem, so to speak, reorganizes the world. So Motzei Shabbos we say Seder Bereshis. V'Achim Oimim b'Yotzei Bereshis. Rav Yosef Yodomer Chosim Mekadesh Yisrael. 3 opinions how we do Havdalah, none of them we actually do. Either Seder Bereshis, Yotzei Bereshis, or Mekadesh Yisrael, because by Havdalah we see the Kedusha of Klal Yisrael that we kept the Shabbos. Either way, we have over here a list of Havdalahs. Now, are all of them mentioned in the Torah? Says, well, no, they're not. If it is true, but the Torah doesn't say anywhere, even though it does say that Hashem told Yikovu Amayim, the waters should gather together. The word Havdalah, the word that Hashem separated, it says that Hashem was mavdil ben amayim yonim tachtonim. Now it does say, but not. It doesn't use the word havdalah between yom and chavava. So how can you use that in havdalah? It says, well, okay, sami mekan ben yom lechavava. You have to delete it. Says the Gemara, if you delete it, let's see how many we've got left. Yachi ben yom ashvili sheishes ben amayis nami. That one as well. Men chasimu. That one is only mentioned because, as we said yesterday, when you conclude a long bracha, the end of the bracha has to be a conclusion similar to the final words of the bracha. So between Yom HaShvi Shishma is also not one of the 7. If that's the case, but you haven't got 7. Let's go through this list again. Amad B'Kodesh Chol is 1. B'Nei L'Choshech is 2. B'Nei Yisroel Amim is 3. B'Yom HaShvi Shishma we're deleting now. Why are we deleting it? Because it's only there because of Ma'ena Chasima. Tos asks the question, wait a second. If it's there from Ma'ena Chasima, where would you put it? The end. And where is it? After 3, in the middle. Says Tosfos that because some people only say 3, the Brisa mentions it after 3. But really, if you were to say 7, you would put it at the end. Let's get that very clear. Whenever you have a long bracha, you finish off the end of the bracha with the theme of how you're going to end up the bracha with. So this says this one should really be right at the end, but because some people say 3, we mention it. Now we've only got 3 because we're missing out Yom HaShishis Memaisa. When Tomei leTorah, that's 4. When Hayom leChavava, we're deleting. Why are we deleting when Hayom leChavava? Because it doesn't say the word Havdalah in the Torah. When Maim Elin and Maim Tachtonim is 5. When Kohanim Levim Yisraelim is 6. Where is the 7th? What? It does. The Torah says Rashi will say it, and Rashi will say it in a minute. Answers the Gemara. It's two separate ones. Why? When Nevim Yisraelim Dichsev Beis, he hivdel Hashem Shevet HaLevi. Hashem separated Shevet HaLevi. When Nevim Dichsev De'amomanu Vayavdel Aaron LaKdisha Kodesh Kadoshim. So therefore, Kohanim Levim and Yisraelim is actually how many? 2. One which Kohanim Levim, and one which Nevim and Yisraelim. So that's the 7. I mentioned yesterday that we shouldn't discuss why 3 and 7. The 7 is connected to the 7 heavens, that in each level of the heaven, the Baruch Hu divided between Kedusha and Chol. The 3 is, interestingly, is all about the greatness of Klal Yisrael. The Abshai is like this. This is the 3 that we say. We say like this: Amad Mikudesh Lechol, the Klal Yisrael Kodesh, the Goyim Ochol. But Oila Choshech, Klal Yisrael's job is to provide light to the world. Oila Goyim Saticha, that you've got to be a light to the world. The Goyim, they bring darkness, so to speak, they bring confusion. And Yisrael Amim is referring to Klal Yisrael, to the nations. The 3 are to emphasize the greatness of Klal Yisrael. Why do we emphasize the greatness of Klal Yisrael? Motzei Shabbos? Because since Hashem only gave Shabbos to Klal Yisrael, Oisi B'ni V'neichem, Rashi says it's a sign that Hashem chose us. He gave us His precious day. So for Motzei Shabbos, we emphasize that's why we have 3 or 7. Okay. So now we've finished Lemaisa with a Nusach of Abdullah. We said there's either 3 or 7. I want us to say 3, like the Gemara itself paskened earlier, that we say 3. More pasken, we say 3, and Rashbam is marich about this. And the Maisa, we finish off, and Mavdim and Kiddush, we finish off, Maisa in order to be the Chasim and Pesachim. It was interesting like this. Quite a few years ago, somebody came on a Yakda Has Yom Tov, and he said this long bracha, and he finished off Mavdim being Kodesh L'chol, because it's much more common to say that. Yeah. He only came to the Rav a few days later. Actually, these kinds of things. And they asked him what to do. That's right. And the Rav, I was standing next to the Rav. I didn't know what to answer. And the Rav also didn't know what to answer. And he said he thinks it's okay.
What are they supposed to do? Make it not half hour?
Yeah. Question is, if you'd have known at the time, had he come immediately? I don't. You're right, 100% right. But let's say, what should he have done? He said he thinks it's all right. And the Rav straight away jumped up with the reason. Because you said most of it's correct, and our Gemara itself says that we pasken, Ullah will see, they only said one line. They didn't bother saying such a long Haftarah like we do. After I looked it up and I showed it to him, the Ma'aser of Yashiv holds, and it's very important to remember because this is second house, if you say Ma'adim Kodesh L'chol, you have to start the bracha again. The whole thing from scratch. That particular bracha, it's how to say it, Vatoideinu Hashem Elokeinu. How to go, bracha. That's in davening in this V'dorach Hashem, yes. Yeah, but you actually, Hivdatu Kedash, this whole thing. Shema Zaman, actually, interestingly enough, also discussed it, and he finishes off, he says, I don't know what the answer is. So, Ma'is, I wouldn't know what you should do, because Shema Zaman says it doesn't know. Blash says, try your best not to do it. It says, well, how do we finish off Havdalah? Rav Amar Mekadesh Yisrael, Hashem is Mekadesh Klal Yisrael, which fits very nice. I was mentioned to Sorosh that we're describing the greatness of Klal Yisrael. Shmuel Amar Mavd Mekadesh L'chol Yisrael, what would you do? Light Allah Abaya. Abaya used to curse. We tell Rav Yosef. Some say it was Rav Yosef. Ahad Rav, those who do like Rav. So that's why we do a Mavd Mekadesh L'chol, not that we don't get chas from a curse from Abaya or Rav Yosef. It says about Tolamish with Rabbi Shua with the Chanadu Kol Achoysim Mekadesh Yisrael Be'ah Mavd Mekadesh L'chol. Somebody who says both. Ma'arichin or Yom V'Shnoisov, he gets a long life. Says this when the parents why to get a long life, because it's very lot. You have to Mavdil bin Makadesh Yisrael Mavdil Kashachil. It's adding another 2 words, right? Adding another 2 words takes time. So a person might think that his life's going to ebb away in the time that it takes him to say it. So Ma'arichin Yom V'Shnoisov. I've got a biography about the sons of Rebbe. It's unbelievable. What happened was one time he was davening and somebody wanted to speak to him. So the Shiur Rebbe sent one of his Gabboim to find out where was he up to in davening. So the Gabba came back. He says, up to Vayivorech David. So the Shiur Rebbe said, go back and find out, is he up to Vayivorech or is he up to David? It makes a few minutes difference. The sons of Rebbe's tefillahs would take hours and hours. By the time he finished, he used to be covered in blood because he used to kick his legs. They stamp his legs. Have you ever read the sons of Rebbe's? Unbelievable tzaddik. Maisa, so because you say both, because it takes a long time. Says, well, we don't paskin like that. Says the top Tosus, why? We never finish off with two separate topics. And that's a special rule. We never finish off with two separate topics. You can't say because it's two separate things. It's not similar, not the same. No, and in fact, the other Rishonim ask that sometimes we do, for example, Geffen or something, and all have to explain how it's not two separate things. We never finish off a brach with two separate topics. If you ever do, we have to explain why it's not two separate topics, but it's one topic. Okay. Says the word like this. Ula ikla pumpadisa. Can you imagine a big tzaddik came to town? Ula. Omele Rav Yehuda says to his son of Yitzchak, Zil am today kakola de baby. Go and bring him a basket of fruit. Because you want to watch him doing Havdalah. It's not easy to sneak into a Goda to get Havdalah. So what should you do? Bring him a basket of fruit and then stick around and hear. Lo Yozal, Rabbi Yitzchak, the son of Yehuda, never went. Shoda leila Abai sent Abai instead. Ki osa Abai. When Abai came back, what did he say? He only said the whole Havdalah was a very, very short Havdalah, by the way. No chasima, by the way, like we do all chasima. No middle, nothing. The whole thing, very short Havdalah. Also, so Bitzchak goes to his father to report. His father asked Bitzchak, his son, to go and find out. But Bitzchak himself never went. He sent Abaya. Abaya reported back. So now Bitzchak is going to report back to his father how Ula said Havdalah. So his father said to him, so what did Ula say? I never went. I know Shadrisela Abaya, but I sent Abaya instead. His father was very, very annoyed with him. The fact that you're a Baal Gaiva, the fact that you're rebellious. Now, no do ever say it in your name. Forevermore, we'll always say, Abaya told us that Ula said Amavda ben Kodesh L'chol. We will never say that it was a Yitzchak who said in the name of Ula Amavda ben Kodesh L'chol. So because of that, you have lost the schus. And as the Rashbam says, the possible Shashim, the sisters of Davis Bakeva, that what happens is when a person, David Sifsi Yeshenim, now the person says the words of Torah, it is repeated in his name, and afterwards he makes his lips move even when he's not alive. And the Yitzchak lost it. It's very interesting. We shouldn't discuss a small question over here, is that he calls his son Ma. Ma was always a respectful term, like sir, rabbi, etc. What's going on over here? So some Rishonim say indeed, the Meiri says that Rabbi Yitzchak was a big Talmid Chacham, and he treated his son with tremendous respect. And because of that, he called him sir. And he says, from here is a right that if a person's got a son who's a Talmid Chacham, he should speak to him like he would speak to another Talmid Chacham. Because he says, Ma. Others, Maram Chalava says, on the contrary, he was so upset with him, he was being sarcastic. And he said to him, you big sir, that you're master sir and things sir, and therefore that's why you never went, and he was telling him off. The very famous Maram Rottenberg, does anybody know what Maram Rottenberg happened to him? Once Maram Rottenberg became the God of Adoy, he never visited his father again for the rest of his life. Why? Because he did not know the halacha, who should stand up for who. On one hand, he's got a mitzvah to stand up for his father, and that he didn't want to get it wrong, and he didn't know the halacha, so he never saw his. It's brought down in the Shulchan Aruch in Yehuda. What did he say?
Yeah.
I lived in different towns. He just didn't go to visit his father.
No, but he could have had the killing. He could have got.
He didn't know how to do it right. It's better not to be even a way or get the situation, get it wrong. Mamotberg was the God that everything that we know today is from Mamotberg. All the Shias and Shus we have today is based on Mamotberg. He was the Rebbe. He's the one that Ramon quotes so much. I don't know. It's interesting, guys. Okay, I thought you knew this. There's a famous story about Mamotberg. Okay, Meisvei. So that's the story of Ula. That what happened was he only said, what was the whole Havdalah? Can you imagine? You save so much time. Meisvei. Every single bracha, every single bracha, you have to start with the bracha, finish with the bracha. Did Ola finish with the bracha, by the way? He didn't. He didn't finish with the bracha. He said, yeah, he did.
You know that, yeah?
Yeah, he did. He didn't finish with the bracha. That was I just said again and again. He said, he did not finish off with the bracha. So it's a kasha. Like Ashiyotza, we say, well, no, Ashiyotza, Baruch Atah Hashem, he didn't finish off with Baruch Atah Hashem. Again, like, oh, very good, very good. We don't finish with the Baruch. We don't say, which is joined to another one. We don't say Baruch Atah Hashem K'nechoi Lom V'yatziv V'nochoin. We say V'yatziv V'nochoin, and we'll finish off Goali. So why do we say Baruch Atah Hashem K'nechoi V'yatziv V'nochoin? Anybody know the answer?
Because it starts and finishes. It's before Shema and after Shema. No?
Very good. What did you say? Yeah, but where's the beginning of that Baruch V'yatziv? Before Shema. Oh, you said Shema in between because you said no. Baruch Atah Hashem K'nechoi Yisroel B'yavo. We finished off Baruch Atah Hashem K'nechoi Yisroel B'yavo. V'yatziv is a Baruch Hashem K'nechoi. And it's part. It's part of the no. Eventually, that's the continuation from Baruch Yisroel B'yavo, and everything.
And Yetzer starts Avarabba.
Yetzer is that's right. Avarabba because we got Yetzer Amoyos. That's right. Baruch Hashem K'nechoi Baruch Achroin Shukiyah Shba Sheyesh BePesach BeBaruch Ve'en B'Chosek Baruch Ve'en Shechosek Baruch BePesach Baruch. V'Atov V'Ameite Pesach BeBaruch Ve'en Chosek Baruch. The Baruch we say in benching, we start with the Baruch, we don't finish with the Baruch. Now, there's this thesis, the third thesis, and the one before a little bit, where Tosfos goes through many, many different brachas, trying to reconcile all the brachas with these principles. I don't know how much time to spend.
Depends how hot the cooker is.
Oh, good. I'll just say a couple of interesting ones, he says. In the middle, he asks a question about the Yahalucha at the end of Halal. Where is the Baruch at the beginning? What are you going to answer to me? Beginning of Halal, brilliant. I was hoping you'd answer that. It says this is because of that, you have to be extremely careful not to talk in the middle of Halal, because you're in the middle of a Baruch. He says that like Pesukah Tesivah, or you could go to Tosfos. So sis, I have an unbelievable question, says Tosfos. What's his unbelievable question? Maybe somebody will guess it. I must admit I didn't think of it. The Seder night. We say Yalelucha, but we don't actually say Baruch Atah Hashem on the Halal. Big question why we don't make a bracha on the Halal. We don't. No, but we finish with Yalelucha. Again, we say Yalelucha in the Halal of Seder night. You don't make a bracha on beginning of Halal to you Seder night. Nobody does.
No. Does the original Kiddush include that?
No. I say the reason is because it's going to split it in half, so therefore that's how we don't say the bracha. In fact, Tosfos, if you sing Hallelujah, as you all said, is a continuation of the bracha of Halal, say to that you sing Hallelujah, you don't say the beginning of Halal. So Tosfos answers, once they establish the bracha like that, they establish the bracha. And Tosfos also says, like what Ben said, that you've got the same problem with Sukkot Zimmer. What? Yeah, but we don't start the bracha. He's asking where's the beginning of the bracha. No, but we don't start off even before Hallelujah. We don't say beginning at the end of Magid. We start the Hallel. We don't say Baruch.
Just before.
And you got the first.
And Magid, you say two of Hallel.
Yes. So if you look at the first of the very wide lines of Tosfos, look at the words of Tosfos, but Ben would have said this. The first of the very wide lines, Nira, you're not allowed to. Because, as you just said, it's one bracha from the beginning to the end.
Why didn't end up?
A second, have you got? Let me guess. Which one? It does. Yishtabach is the end, and Baruch Shema is the beginning. And also, this is something I must admit, Kadech Greenblatt showed me once. I was very fascinated. Some people have struggled with saying these brachas, Baruch Hashem Amen V'Amen, just before Ma'av Shvud Esra, at the top speed that Chazanim were able to say it. And then the problem is what to do. I had the Shaila ones. What to do? They don't say it. But you say these psukim at top speed, just before Ma'av on Shvud Esra. Baruch Hashem Amen V'Amen. It's very fast.
No, that Yomi say it so that people come late. That's the same. It's a recap of everything.
Okay, so it's interesting. Chader told me, and this is Tosfos says it over here, people from Shabbat, that the actual bracha starts Yivo Einenu. And actually, this article said that first time I noticed it. It's actually, look at it, it's a new paragraph. The bracha is over here. So if you're not up to Yirei Neinu, you actually haven't started the bracha. Tosis says it.
So you mean if you can't finish the whole bracha, you start Yehuda?
Or if you started, stop at Lolam Vod if you're not going to get Yirei Neinu. Because you can't talk. Once the Kaddish, you're not allowed to talk.
If you know you're not going to finish.
If you know you're not going to, I don't know. No, I was asking, I started it, I couldn't get to Shwedes. Who don't say it? So that's all they don't say it. That's all they don't say it. Yeah, or do I have to finish it all? Where do I stop? Well, I don't want to miss Kirch to start Shwedes with everybody. Yeah, to start with everybody. No, so you can stop any posuk you like as long as you're before Yirei Neinu and then start Shwedes with everybody else. You can say the psukim, not the bracha Yirei Neinu, no. Okay, there's a very, very lot. So Tesis says, this is a very famous thing, is Tesis discusses the Sheva brachas at a chasna. Many of them, they don't follow these rules. Where is it? Let's just see.
Just get this, it's not relevant. just straight it might be shooting.
Yeah, listen to this. It's very nice. So that's the kasha. Let's just do very, very briefly because I want to go. Wait a second. No, the question is, if you did Baruch Atah Hashem Shakol Bo Lechvodo, how can you do Yotzei Adam? It's a Baruch Hasmucha Lechaverto. You should only finish with the Baruch, not start with the Baruch. Says Tesis that nowadays we say the 7 brachas always, but in the olden days they didn't. Shakol Bo Lechvodo, they used to say when the crowd would come together, it's a kavod of Hashem. So it was a separate. It wasn't all said at the same time. Another bracha Yotzei Adam was many times said even if there was no. It was not, even if you don't have a Palim Chadoshes. The next one was only said if there was a Palim Chadoshes. So therefore it's only the third one that's actually always said. And that's why the fourth one says Tosis doesn't start with a Boch. Because we start Boch Atah Hashem, Boch Yotzei Adam, then we say Tosis because Boch HaSmucha Lechaverto, so it's the next one. So he works out this. And the last bracha, he says, there also sometimes used to say, even if there was no Palim Chadoshes. So this works through. And then he goes through also the brachas of the Haftorah, with a similar kind of logic, how we do it, to make sure that it's not a problem. Okay. Then you've got the bracha of Ashiyot. So this discusses the bracha after the Megillah on Purim. Baruch Atah Hashem. Okay, la nifo lonu mitzvah lamo yisom kod sorem. So he says that you have to finish off with the bracha because it's a bracha arucha, it's not a bracha k'tzor. Yeah, he says also about Ashiyot. So he says it's a long bracha. You have to start with the bracha, finish with the bracha. Right. So this says that okay. It's quite a lot. Okay, well, we've got many rules, but this is the Tosis to look up if you have got a question why a Baruch finishes off and why not. One final thing is the Tosis says is that Tova Meitiv, why don't we finish off with a Baruch? What the fourth Baruch or benching, Tova Meitiv? So it's even the Abbanon Baruch we finish off with a Baruch. This says it's a short Baruch, so it says it's short, it's quite a long one. It's very, very long. So Teresa says that it is all the same theme. So it's a very, very short bracha. We say many names for Hashem, many ways that Hashem gave us kindness, but it's one theme, and therefore since it's one theme, it's called a bracha k'tzor. We don't finish off. So the Ma'isa, we had all of that came along and made a very, very short Havdalah. We asked the question, what's going on? We're up to Kufhei Amud Aleph, top line. How does that shtim? How does that work with the Beis that you should always finish the bracha? And it says, well, Kashur Lo'olah. It's only a hido, and therefore you do not need to finish off with the baruch. So the Rabbi Saba was the waiter. They asked him to go outside, see if it's Nacht. It was Friday afternoon. See if it's Nacht. If it would be Nacht, they would move the tables and start again the whole process for Friday night meal. You don't need to. If you remember at the previous Gemara, what do you do if it's Friday night? It comes in Shabbos. Yes, but what do? Yeah, well, you post map on Makadish. You don't need to. You just put. You don't need to stop the meal. You don't need to bench. You just post map on Makadish. He said to them, you don't need to uproot the meal. And he explained to them, Shabbos covered afsho. Shabbos establishes it by itself without you moving the tables. The halacha is that you're allowed to eat. You're not allowed to eat fruit and veg in Eretz Yisrael unless you take it to a Maisus. If you're snacking, you're allowed to. What happens is that if you're eating a snack on Shabbos, you are not allowed to eat fruit unless you take Tumas HaMaisos. Why not? Because eating a snack on Shabbos is so valuable, so important. It's as if you've established a proper meal. And therefore, you are not allowed to eat a snack. I remember once, my first got married, I was walking my wife. So it's just had it yesterday, my 20th anniversary. This story happened was 19 years ago, something. Yes. Anyway, the kids were walking, and the farmer, we were walking somewhere, the farmer stepped outside, said hello to my wife, and gave her a bunch of grapes. My wife was quite happy. It's nice to get a fresh bunch, like a small, tiny bunch of grapes. There was a junk spritzer. And they work at 90 years ago. And I spent racking my brain to think as to whether it's permitted or not forbidden, because he wasn't from. So the question is from some ISIS, but it's only a snack. And the question is that if it's a gift is considered chashivas, like a sale, but then they say only if it's considered a proper gift.
Maybe if you're trying to buy it.
I said to her, look, I said, I'm very sorry, but I can't think for the life of me all the different ramifications. Also, the pastor's no problem with Olo, but I was a bit scared if there's grafting, there can be a problem with Olo, though. There was such thing. It walked, carrying it, eventually went to a bin and chucked it out. I felt really bad.
It's lasted 20 years.
What?
It's lasted 20 years.
No, the grapes. It's thrown in the bin. What do you mean?
You should plant the seeds. I
was scared that somebody else might eat it. I know somebody else eat it. I don't know. Anyway, but Rabbi says Shabbos has got to establish that if you take your snack on Shabbos, you can't take. Oh, I hear.
If you do a snack, if you do like a biscuit, for example, is shalosh?
I don't know. Jesus doesn't mention about a snack for shalosh. We'll see. This look at a couple of places now. We saw him. Okay, I hear. It's an interesting idea. I never thought of it. They thought like this. That means when it comes to Avdallah, you have to stop Motzei Shabbos. If you're eating Shalosh Shudas, and it comes to Motzei Shabbos, you have to stop for Avdallah. That means if you're eating Shalosh Shudas and it suddenly becomes Nacht, you can carry on eating. There are many Chassidim, many people that eat a meal long after Avdallah. And this is the Gemara that says it, for Avdallah. You don't have to stop. You're not allowed to start. You're not allowed to start a meal once it is Nacht. And Mr. Bur bites a huge avichus that you shouldn't start from Shkia either. I know that it's unfortunate that especially in the winter in England it can be very challenging. The Mr. Bur writes that one should not. I was once by Yaakov Resha because the Beis they started. There was discussion. We go back and forth, people discuss it. So I just said, if you read the words of the Shtabur, you'd be very reluctant to start after Shkia. Because the Shtabur writes very strong words. Well, yeah, I should walk into Sabbath with the Shtabur.
They've not even started.
Yes. I know, the Shtabur writes very strong words. So he said that, if you're drinking, you have to stop. So if all you're having is a drink and you haven't had shalosh, you have to stop. Only beer and wine. If you don't have a drink of water, it's not a problem. Saw this person, the Shosamah, was drinking water. You're not scared of choking to death. A person who drinks water before Avdallah, it's a tremendous danger. This every year I have this shaila and I do not have a clear in my mind, and every year I end up thinking about it. What happens is like this. My wife is fasting in Yom Kippur, is expecting, feeding, and it's a challenge to fast. Especially when it's expecting, it can sometimes be dangerous. And the question is, should she drink before I come home after Havdalah? It's before Havdalah.
She should make Havdalah.
If you look at the Mishnah Berurah, it's not straightforward that one's allowed to make Havdalah.
No.
So it's a big problem. So you've got to be here machlekes. The Gemara says Avuna was concerned about it. The Rashbam says, okay, let's say I've said Tesis, it's easier. It's a last four lines from the end of the text on this page. We saw Askara, why should a person deserve to be choked to death just because they had to drink water before Havdalah? Mida kedeged mida. Who must be a geroino? Is lavishing his throat. Yechonik v'askara b'mokim chenek is a kind of translation. Because the Mishnah Chayav chenek ketuv no, it makes b'simchuch v'askara. That means you're indulging your throat. So chas v'shalom. So I don't know. Every year I have a question what to do, and it's a hard question what to do. The Torah Mishmid of Yekiva Kulatem Klugudish after Misosi Basker. But the Rabashi they kept their mind. They did not care about water. They would drink water before Havdalah. When we have in Imam Nachman Beis, Mishlei Kiddush Be'ev Shabbos. Some do the Kiddush Friday night. Ma'osh Kiddush V'Lech Kolem Kulei. Can he do Kiddush Shabbos morning? Omalei Midomi B'Dei Abchia Mishlei Hivdei B'Motzei Shabbos. Some do the Havdalah Motzei Shabbos. But V'Lech Kolem Shabbos Kulei is allowed to do Havdalah all week long. And then more later we'll say means till Tuesday night. Just like you could do Havdalah, you've got a replacement for Havdalah, you've got a replacement for Kiddush. It's not true. Friday night and first night Yom Tov, you make Kiddush. And you have to mention either Yad V'Yovo with saying benching. Shabbos Yom Tov in the morning, there's no Kiddush in Shabbos morning, there's no Kiddush in Yom Tov morning. But you still need to mention Ritzeh and Yalov in benching. We will see later the main Kiddush is Friday night, first night Yom Tov. The Kiddush of Shabbos morning is not real Kiddush, it's not as important. We don't make a special bracha, we just say B'Rei Priyagofen. So we see that there's no Kiddush Shabbos morning. Says the Gemara, if you don't make Kiddush Friday night, you can make Kiddush the whole day. Shabbos Yom Tov Nami Mashkachas L'Dei Shben Kiddush Ala Kois T'Dei Kiddush Mont Mekadosh L'Mocho. How can you say there's no Kiddush Shabbos morning? Yes, there is Kiddush Shabbos morning. If you don't make Kiddush Friday night, so you make Kiddush Shabbos morning, so there is Kiddush. The Beis is not talking about somebody who made a mistake. The Beis is talking about the normal cases. In the normal circumstances, there's no Kiddush Shabbos morning, there's only Kiddush Friday night. Esrei, Kovod Yomi, Kovod Laila. The person got a choice which meal to make fancier, which one should make first. Kovod Yom Kodem. You should make the day meal more important. It's a very important. Mishavur brings it. I know. No, the Mishavur says Shabbos morning is the most important meal of Shabbos, and the Mishavur says that the Maharshal writes that I love fish, and therefore I only eat fish ever Shabbos morning, in order to make something special for Shabbos morning. And the Mishavur writes that people. Yes, that's the Friday night Kiddush is more important. The Shabbos will know. We'll see in a minute. We'll ask in a minute. The Shabbos will have to point this out. That a person has to remember you have to make the Shabbos morning meal important. Some people Friday night is a whole thing. Shabbos morning is a quick thing. No, Shabbos morning meal has to be the most important meal of the day.
Oh yeah, cholent.
Well, no, also because the show.
On Friday night we have, let's say, 3 or 4 dishes. The cholent has like 4 or 5 things inside.
Is that so?
Make more than Friday night.
Is that I never heard that. Yeah. If a person only owns 1 cup of wine and Shabbos comes in, what should he do? You only have 1 cup of wine. Oimer says Gvokov here with Beis. Kiddush Hayom. It's Friday night. Kiddush Hayom. Rashbam and the last both say Kiddush Hayom doesn't mean Kiddush of the daytime. It means Kiddush of the night time. Kiddush Hayom cover the Kodah and the covered Yom. If you say that if you don't make Kiddush Friday night, make Shabbos morning, and you've only got 1 cup of wine, I've got a way to make everybody happy. Don't make Kiddush Friday night. Then make Kiddush Shabbos morning, and then you'll have made Shabbos morning special by drinking the wine, and you'll be Yotze the Kiddush because you didn't do it in the night. You Yotze during the day. So Elamai is that what? That you can't make Kiddush Shabbos morning, you can only make it Friday night. So it says, we prefer to always do a mitzvah at its right time, and therefore prefer to do Kiddush Friday night, even if we lose Kavod Yom, more than to do it Shabbos morning and not. Do you want? Should do a few more minutes? What's the story of the cook? I don't want to stir mad. Says the Gemara, do you say mitzvah special at its time? But Tanya, that's the base of what Shabbos. We've had this price before. We're going to analyze this price at great length. It's very good to get it clear. A person came home, what's the Shabbos? He wants to make, what does he want to do when he comes home, what's the Shabbos? What does he want to do? Havdalah. Plus, what else does he want to do? He wants to eat a meal of lava malka and bench. And for benching, what does he need? A cup of wine. And this person, Nebuch, has only got 1 cup of wine. So what should he do? So Nichnas basically what's the Shabbos Mevorach Al Yain. First makes a bracha on wine. First there's wine. Nei b'samim Abdullah. That's a normal one. If he only has 1 cup, if he's only got 1 cup, he first eats lava malka, and he makes Abdullah after lava malka. Now, if you just said a second ago, we don't push off Friday night to Shabbos morning in order to. Before we said if you only got 1 cup of wine, we don't push it off Friday night to Shabbos morning to gain the kiddush plus the covered yom. And here we do push it off to after the eating. So you see that we don't say Chaviv Metzvah. Omar Leisi said to him, I'm not a wise person, I'm not a prophet, but not a single person either. I've learned and I understood it from others. And the Beis Medrash say all like me. That what? There's a difference between Kiddush and Havdalah. Kiddush, we don't want to delay till the next morning, because the quicker we can say Kiddush and Makdish the day, the better. But it shows a preciousness to make Kiddush early. So therefore, when it comes to Kiddush, we push it off. We don't push it off. We do it immediately Friday night, even though you could gain by having a couple of morning Shabbos morning. Havdalah, we are happy to push it off until the end. The Gemara now is going to bring 8. Oh, we asked this question. And was it yesterday or 2 days ago? 2 days ago, we asked the question. Tesis asked the question. Look at the top Tesis. We hear Tesis asks it again, and he leaves it shared. Because the Gemara says, what's meant to Havdalah? If we see from this price, before Havdalah, we've only got 1 cup of wine. The Gemara is now going to analyze the 8 halachas that we're going to learn from this price. And each one of these halachas Tesis discusses. We're going to be doing the share tomorrow morning. And then Motzei Shabbos is going to be 8 o'clock. Is that correct? You should still be able to do 8 o'clock. Because then because Shabbos. What time is Nach? 10 to 7. Is that too quickly for you, Moshe? Well, Abdullah is very short. Ula told us.
It's good.
What? I think 8 o'clock is better.
I'm not sure the house.
Yeah,
You have to get involved with washing up. It's good.
tomorrow?
Right, so where we're going to get up to tomorrow?
Have we got a plan for this film?
It looks like it's going to be over here on a Sunday night.
Together with everybody else.
Together with another group. Does that disturb you, by the way, Moshe?
As long as it's good food.
Shalom doesn't disturb you. The Amud Yomi, I finished Shabbos.
When is it? What day of the week?
More than merrier.
What day of the week is it?
Sunday night.
What is on the menu? Most importantly.
Whiskey.
What else?